Hello, everyone. How are you guys doing? Welcome back to my channel. My name is April Butcher. I'm your mother on social, and I come to give you guys a little common sense commentary when it comes to things happening in the world, in pop culture, and in these doggone internet streets. So if that interests you, definitely hit that subscribe button, like this video, and let's get into the caca. Oh, Lord, y'all ready for this one? Okay. It's time to just put it all out there. I traveled all the way from Las Vegas, Nevada, all the way down here to Hollywood Boulevard, okay, to talk to Mr. David, because the people want to know what really went down, and not in the sense of the gossip, the mess, the drama. They want to know, who is David, okay? Who is this man that says Kim Kardashian ruined my life, honey, okay? We really want to get to know who David is and what's his message and what's his mission behind this new rally, this new war cry of being able to speak your mind, speak up against brands, speak up against entities that sometimes we go in blindly into these situations, just thinking the best out of people, and in actuality, people are only about business. So I wanted to come on and talk to Mr. Davis. Hey, David, how are you?
I'm well. Thank you for having me.
Can you tell us your name? Tell everybody who you are and what mission you're on.
So my name is David Liebenson. I was a once successful self-made entrepreneur. I'm on a mission to tell the world about my my bad partnership with Kim Kardashian and Kris Jenner.
Okay. Yeah. So tell me this. The thing I think inquiring minds want to know is, what I understand that this was a business deal that went bad, but can you please give me a little bit of backstory of, like, how did you get in this situation, right? Mm-hmm. Like, how did you get the opportunity to sit with Kris Jenner and Kim Kardashian, honey? Because a lot of people out there have that hope and their dream in their heart to either work with them or other celebrities. And when we hear stories of, like, people like Emma Grede meeting Kris Jenner somewhere and ended up getting that opportunity to work with Good American and work with Khloe, and now working with Kim with Skims, like, how did that come about that you were at that time lucky enough to even get an opportunity to sit with the both of them?
Sure. So I had an app at the time called Sensorgram, and it was on the App Store. Thousands of users were using it, and it removes comments from social media automatically.
Okay.
So if somebody's, saying things in your feed that you don't want in your comments, you could actually log into our app, Sensorgram, and you could put keywords in there, phrases, and then it would automatically scan and remove these comments.
Okay.
And at the time, this was an app that Kim and her family were using. So Jonathan Cheban had reached out through direct messages on our Sensorgram app, Instagram page.
Okay. And just to clarify, Jonathan Cheban is the guy that goes now by Food God.
Correct.
Okay.
And he actually reached out multiple times. The first time, he kind of came in hot and was asking, for a large percentage before we even had any discussions, and it kind of threw us off. And we were still, early on stages. We just got the app on the App Store, so we didn't carry on with that conversation from there. We were excited with the thought of, people being interested in working with us. So I actually deleted that thread with Jonathan.
Wow.
And then shortly after that, he actually reached back out to me through one of my pictures on this Instagram page.
Okay.
And the comments, he was like, "Hey, why did you delete the thread? Kim's game is major, doing hundreds of millions. We want to talk." And so he actually reached back out. So he made arrangements for Kim to call me the next day and discuss, this. So I thought at that time, okay, they really want to do this and they want to be more fair about percentages. So that's when we started entertaining.
Okay. So I guess my question is, too, how many partners were y'all together on Sensorgram?
3 of us. It was myself, my partner, Narayan, and Dan, which is also my cousin.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. And since this has transpired into this horrible brand deal that went bad, right? Mm-hmm. Like, what is the status of even that relationship with your partners, your former partners? Are they former or are they still your partners?
They're former partners.
Okay.
I have a good relationship with my cousin Dan. The Ryan, we really haven't talked much over the years.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So I guess for me, with this whole situation, I understand the movement. For those of you that don't know, like he explained, he created a website online. He's been on Hollywood Boulevard, right? Mm-hmm. Walking around with that sign, honey, that's behind him right now. Kim Kardashian ruined my life, honey. Okay. And for those of you that don't know, basically he's creating this movement because as we all know, a lot of people could throw out suits, right? Like we just saw, what was it, yesterday? The ladies, the two teachers saying that they're suing Donda Academy and Kanye West for discrimination and amongst other things, allegedly. A lot of times people can say they're going to sue and they're going to go get attorneys and everything. But as we saw in the case with Gwyneth Paltrow and the gentleman, the ski man, okay, now he has to pay all these lawyer fees. Can you explain to people the difficulty and just finding an attorney and why it took so long? Because a lot of people are asking, like, this was years ago. Kim has gone on and she's living her life and she's running schemes and they got TikTok. They got banned off of TikTok allegedly. Now they back on TikTok. Like, why now?
So I'm glad you asked this. It's actually, this is the last phase. Mm-hmm. People don't realize that shortly after we, dug into all this and started trying to understand what had happened, and shortly after the threatening letter from them saying that they're going to sue us for $5 million if we don't hand over all of our stuff, we started trying to understand, like, okay, so what happened here? And we started digging into emails. We uncovered evidence, that Kim had lied about, a name, and she had not knowing a name. It was proven through an email. There was multiple things. One of the guys that was involved with essentially sending the damning, information that we supposedly put out about, or like whatever screenshot was, that their team never even told us what it was exactly or showed us. It was never like proven. So we just
kind of like my YouTube monetization situation.
Yeah, I mean, so basically, like, hey, we're suing you for $5 million each unless you give us all this. And this is why. And we have the most powerful attorney in the world. He's the guy that defended Cosby, and like he's the bulldog that anytime something major happens with a celebrity, he's there, and like I was shaking, at the time I was doing fairly well. I had a home and a family, and I saw that just potentially disappearing.
Right. Now, the question is too, like with everything going on, as far as the $400,000, have you paid all of that back?
I have not.
You have not.
That was a default judgment. People think that was some big victory, and her publicity team spun it as a big victory. Mm-hmm. But that was a default judgment from a jams arbitrator, a private setting, where because I wasn't forced into going and paying hundreds of thousands of dollars that I didn't have to defend myself in this private arbitration setting, the arbitrator was able to give them a default judgment. Right. And then they used that news to make it look like it was a victory and basically kick me while I was down. Right. They sent process servers, the people that, tell you you're getting sued, and they actually were harassing me and my family and like every day chasing us down, trying to serve me with papers.
Right, right. Now, the question is, because like I said, this is a aspect of coming from common sense, because people are going to ask common sense questions. So like with this situation and like what your movement is right now, are you trying to get people to move to basically help you pay this judgment? Or are you getting this movement going for you to help other people? Because that's what people want to know.
Yeah. So I want a resolution. I want this to be known. These the years of all the shady business practices where hardworking Americans are, busting their butts to make something. And then somebody with, a multi-million-dollar, legal budget where they could just kind of come in and take what they want.
Right.
Using our, system, it's like, it just has to stop.
Right, right. So it's more of what you're saying, from what I gather from what you're saying, is it that you're seeking change behavior in the way people are treated when they have intellectual property, exactly, or they have a business that was already flourishing and running. It's more than just the Kimoji app and the Kimojis and the little characters. It's the fact that you had an actual app that was running, and you want to create a movement that other people that have gone through similar situations, not just to get against the Kardashians, but against just corporate America, corporate giants that come in and do this on a daily basis. That's what you're seeking justice for.
I would like two things. You know, I would like, of course, to receive, you know, what I should have received for, you know, my part and my, you know, input in the projects. Before I met Kim, you know, before any of my partners, before we got involved with them, we were on a positive trajectory. You know, we had projects in the works. We had an app on the App Store. So, you know, it derailed everything.
Right.
Their greed derailed everything. So if I could use this to, you know, not only get resolution for myself, but then, you know, turn this into an actual movement, which it seems like all the people supporting me want anyways, you know, we could help everybody. You know, we could get funding and actually like help people that are in similar situations, give them a legal budget to stand up against these kinds of things.
Right, exactly.
There's so much we could do.
Exactly. I think that's the thing that people fail to realize about this. You know, a lot of people, we're in this age right now where people are constantly worried about themselves and not worried about the next person. They don't understand that when you create movements and you build a community, then we can all help each other together, right? And I've heard you say on other interviews that, you know, you have nothing left to lose, right? Can you tell me more about that? Like, because some people, they have everything to lose. But when you get to this level that you are, where you've basically hit rock bottom, you're staying inside your car, having to go out on the street and put this sign up, it takes a lot of courage, I believe, to do that. Can you tell us a little bit more about, like, what is that like? When did you know you hit rock bottom and you had nothing else to lose and you're going to go for the gusto with this?
Well, I found myself sleeping in my car, you know, after years of just being in and out of depression over this and thinking of different ways that I could, you know, get a resolution. And I actually got a call from a company that was interested in hearing my story, potentially doing a documentary. And I
surviving the Kardashians, child.
So, you know, that just made me realize that, you know, I had all this proof. You know, the only thing that, you know, the fear, you know, their typical term at the end of all their legal letters, proceed at your own peril. You know, so I'm not scared anymore.
Right.
You know, they could threaten me over and over again, but if I don't have anything to take, you know, and what are you going to do? I want the world to know. So I just figured I'm going to put everything on a website, and I want everybody to read it and give their opinion.
Child, look here, David. All I know is the only thing that would be able to repo off of you if it did exist was skim underwear, which we know they don't make for men. Okay. So you just letting it all out. All right. But here's the other thing I want you to help us wrap our mind around, because when I was discussing this with my husband, Brian, I a lot of times on my channel, I will find analogies to kind of correlate what it is that you're trying to do, right? And in my opinion, what you're trying to do is, this is Endgame, in my opinion. You seen Endgame, right? Avengers. This is the way I look at it. You had Thanos, right? And Thanos had a plan. This is fact. Thanos had a plan. The plan was, I'm going to get these stones. I'm going to wipe out half of the universe. And then I'm going to go sit in my garden. And I'm going to retire. Okay? That's the plan. All of his little minions that work for him knew the plan. Even when the Avengers went back to get all the stones, he was still on the plan and the mission as hand. So at the end of the day, they had a plan. I feel like a lot of times the Avengers have a whole, you know, group of people, but there's no plan. If we watch the Avengers, you see Captain America and Tony Stark fighting it out. They can't get along. And it's almost like the Avengers go for the fight and they hope and pray that they win. And of course, victoriously, as the script is written, they win, right? But we cannot forget in Endgame, Thanos succeeded at what he was trying to do. So in my opinion, when you look at the collective of the Kardashians, I see an analogy or a similarity in Thanos's group, right? It's power, it's muscle, it's numbers. They have a mission, they have a plan in anything it is that they do. And I feel like the rest of the world is like the Avengers with no clear plan on how to take this situation down or how to seek justice, right? So in your opinion, when you're going up against a person or a group of people like Thanos, like what is your end game? What is your mindset? What wakes you up every day and makes you still feel like I want to keep doing this and I want to keep going?
I'm hoping that with all this incredible support from everybody, that this actually can create enough pressure to cause Kim and Kris to explain their side of this.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm wrong, then speak up.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me what happened. Why did this have to happen? Why couldn't you go any other route with this? Why did it have to be let's basically steal this from you guys and not give you any real explanation as to why?
Mm-hmm. I think a lot of times what we as average working Americans, right, what we have to look at different situations as, in this situation, we're not just talking about just the Kardashians. We're talking about a conglomerate, like I explained earlier. You're talking about people that have investments in this brand, in this family, because what I explained earlier off camera was that their currency is attention. We saw them bombard the airways yesterday, from Khloe going to Mickey D's to getting the munch meal, Kanye getting sued, Donda Academy locking the doors and feeding people sushi, Kim banned, now she not banned, not North want to go draw the paintings that they don't allow at Donda, to Kylie thirst trapping, okay? They know how to bombard the airways, right?
Mm-hmm.
With a bunch of nonsense, okay? A bunch of caca. So at the end of the day, it is attention that is the currency. Would you say that the way to really seek justice for yourself and for other companies that have seen this similar fate is to attack the currency of attention? Mm-hmm. Wouldn't you say that would be just to go about doing it that way?
That's a great way to put it. Yeah.
So right now with your campaign, you would say that's tapping into that currency of attention by walking around with the signs and going on TikTok and doing these interviews, right? Mm-hmm. At the end of the day, I really want every American to be able to have this opportunity that has been wrongfully, or done wrong. The companies come in and just steal their ideas, steal their intellectual property. Many a times I've been here on YouTube and have been done the same, where people take your stories and run with it, or they act as if they created it. Girl, read a book, okay? It takes a hit to your psyche. Even right now, I would ask you, what's the state of your mental health right now? How has it been the last couple of years, mental health wise, with dealing with, your family and your kids and having to have to sleep in a car? How is that taking a hit to your mental health?
It's been really tough. It's been lonely. A lot of confusion, just depressed, to be honest with you. Doing all this, I knew this was going to be, me, I was going to have thick skin, this was going to be embarrassing to admit to some things, sleeping in my car and stuff. But I just thought, I have to do this.
Right.
I have to do this. I have to speak up, and, we have to find justice.
Right. And one more question, what are you asking for people who want to be a part of this movement, right? Because pretty much you like the Forrest Gump of this situation. Remember when Forrest Gump went jogging and running across America and the people just start following him? Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden Forrest turns around and decides he don't want to run no more. Y'all could go home. What is the call to action that you have for people to help with this movement, that people don't just go home or jump on to the next movement tomorrow?
Well, hundreds and thousands at this point of people have reached out asking about GoFundMe, and
Mhm.
I never intended to raise money through like a GoFundMe for myself. I
Right.
want Kim to pay. You know, I want them to be held accountable.
Right.
So, but to utilize all of the support, you know, we've actually started a crowdfunding campaign through Indiegogo, and
Okay.
to use those funds to do more of the sign stuff. You know, billboards. People
Right.
have reached out saying, "Hey, I'd like to help put up a billboard,"
Right.
or "Hey, you know, I'd like to see T-shirts." You know,
Right.
so we're going to utilize all this support and use, you know, create more attention
Mhm.
to get into their arena. That's, you know, just like you were talking about, you know, and if we could turn that into a bigger fight to help all the underdogs that have been taken advantage of,
Right.
legal defense or whatever it takes to help get them that justice,
Right.
publicity, whatever, then I think that's where we're headed with this. That's what
Okay.
the people want.
That sounds good. I know it's a lot, just being a face of it, because there's really no one, like, since we saw Ray J come unhinged, as I called it, you know, like in my video a couple months ago in September.
Poor AJ.
Poor Ray J. Ray J just let half, because, you know, people don't understand. It's a lot. It's a lot being the good guy. The good guy in the sense of not speaking up, not saying anything, keeping your mouth shut. You know, in the Michelle Obama way of things, they go low and we go high. Well, at some point, my wings get tired. Okay, dog it. I'm tired. And I feel that, like, for him, it was just at a level of being tired. And I feel for a lot of people, you get to that point of being tired and just wanting some kind of acknowledgement of things, being that they have not even really, well, not really, they have not even acknowledged Ray J's situation back in September. Do you think there's hope that they would actually acknowledge you, or would it just be sufficing to you enough where they would just drop the whole entire $400,000 and say, look, let's just walk away from this, let bygones be bygones, and you go your way, I go my way, let's stop all of this? What is it for you that you feel, you know, would be justifiable? Because I mean, they haven't even publicly apologized to him and what he actually said in his video. So how would that work out for you? What are you looking for?
Well, I'm not 100% sure what the situation obviously is with Ray J, but my own situation is I know that I am at a rock bottom with this,
Right.
and with nothing to lose, I'm not going to stop until they're
Right.
held accountable.
Right.
I'm not going to.
Right.
This is going to keep going until I'm either apologized to and this is made right and I get what I deserve and my partners as well,
Mm-hmm.
or this just keeps going.
Right. Right.
I'll sleep in my car forever if I have to fight this.
No, right. I understand. I understand. It gets like that sometimes, because I mean, even for me, I get frustrated with things and I get frustrated with people, because I think what it is too, because you say you are Aries, honey, and I'm an Aries, and we keep our foot on people's necks. Okay. I'm just saying. So that might be the vibes. So I won't even hold you for that. Like, that's what people need to understand. Different people operate different ways. And what's valuable to me might not be valuable to you. It might not be valuable to the next person, but that is valuable to me. You acknowledging what the hell you did to me and what you done put me through. And a lot of times that simple thing may mean more than money to some people, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like after hearing your interviews before and what you've said time and time again, even in this interview, I think that's what matters most to you. It's not even about the judgment, is the fact that, like, you had an app that was working, that, you know, they came in and they snuffed it. And another question to you is, because I know people are asking these types of questions. The other question I have for you too is, when you guys actually met at their house to talk, I know was from what you said, it was a verbal agreement that you guys made, right? And I guess for me, as a business owner, as an entrepreneur going forward, are you really adamant on like contracts? And like, why wasn't a contract done? Was it because of your partners? Did they rush into it? And
well, generally, if you're making an agreement, if you're sitting at a table and you're you know, you make a verbal agreement, there's time, usually you don't net a contract in that very moment. That's not really
Right.
possible.
Right.
Even with lawyers there, it takes
Right.
time.
Right.
So with a verbal agreement, with that whole room full of people and all the emails and text messages and everything that we had, in a million years, and remember, I was there for Sensagram.
Mm-hmm.
In a million years, I never would have imagined they would commit fraud and go through everything they did to get Kimoji, which was just like icing on the cake. That was just a fun project to make some extra money that we could use to help fund this actual problem solver to help fight cyberbullying and just everything that we were going, the mission that we were on for Sensagram was bigger than Kimoji.
Right.
But that's what it ended up turning into. It was just Kimoji.
Quick question on that Kimoji, just to touch bases on that a little bit. When it comes to the actual images, the mock-ups, were those mock-ups that you actually did, or did you service someone out to create those for you guys, or how did that work?
So Narayan, our creative partner, he actually drew a lot of this artwork in-house. Wow. And so we had multiple emoji projects before we ever came up with the idea to merge them and present to Kim while we were meeting for Sensagram.
Right.
So we had a Wall Street emoji project and like a sexy, dirty emoji project that we didn't have an exact name for it yet, but we were working with Instagram on being able to use it, or iTunes to be able to upload it to the App Store, because they had guidelines that we were trying to navigate to be able to even. But so we basically took those emoji projects and we combined them, and we used an image to basically just mock up, like, hey, here's you as an emoji, Kim, here's you as an emoji, Chris, here's one of Kanye. This could be fun. Let's do something like this at the same time. And we thought it was a 50-50 chance they'd even be interested in it.
Right. Okay.
So it's not about us trying to just make money off of their image, and that people need to understand that it wasn't about Kimoji.
Right.
It just turned into that, and people are more focusing on that.
Right. And I think people are more focusing on that. Let's dial into that a little bit. I think from a common sense aspect, right? Like, people are more focused on that because that was a tangible thing that they bought into.
They still sell now.
That they still sell, and that they still using. People are using it. Mm-hmm. So for them, they don't know about Sensagram because it was something that is a backdoor thing through this app that everybody was using. Mm-hmm. Like, a lot of people don't know that there's an app online, I think it's called TikTok Trends, where people could go in and see the hashtags that are trending, the music that's trending. A lot of people don't know about that. They don't know about these different apps that aid in the actual bigger picture of Instagram or TikTok or Facebook or whatever. So I think that's probably where the disconnect is coming. People connected strictly to Kimoji and locked in on that and didn't even see the bigger picture. Yeah. So I hope in today's interview, people get to see the bigger picture of really why you're really upset. Because if you have something already working, and the reason why I asked about the Kimoji thing is because, to me, that would fall on the intellectual property. But I guess because everything was signed over, then it's like.
And it was, all of the confidentiality documents that they use and the provisions for if there's a dispute, it has to be handled in a particular way, which is out of the public eye, and arbitration. Things that they use that make it really hard to fight them. They get you to sign these things, and the fact that I didn't sign the release, but my two partners did, and they kind of created a riff in-house where we in confusion, we really didn't understand what was going on, because that's what they wanted. That's what they created that on purpose, so they could then threaten us and take what they wanted.
Right.
And they do these types of things with those papers, to help direct the disputes away from us to know. If that makes sense.
Right. Well, I will say this. I thank you so much for taking time to speak with me today. I feel that hopefully this gives people a different look at this situation, because it's not, I feel like a lot of times on social media, the number one thing that irritates me with the internet streets, which is trademarked by me, thank you. Okay. What irritates me with the internet streets a lot of the times is that people see the Kardashian, they're like, down with the Kardashians, off with their heads. But they don't understand there's so many more people that are invested, are attached to this brand, that will go tooth and nail to protect it. You know what I'm saying? And I always feel like with the internet streets that there needs to be some sort of resolution or solution to it than just like, take them down. Like there was somebody in my membership community left a comment, was like, I thought you were, because I mentioned that I was coming to meet with you in my membership community, and they said they didn't even listen. All they heard was Kim. They weren't even listening. They said, why are you going to meet with Kim? I thought you hated her. And it's like this. I don't hate them people. Them people don't put money in my pocket. They don't feed me. They don't do nothing for me. They don't keep the lights on. They ain't even give me the damn gas to make it out here to Los Angeles. The fact of the matter is, it's all about not taking advantage of the little person, even down to the consumer. Like, don't sit up here and tell me I could order a pair of Skims drawers that's a 4X and I get it and it's really extra small, extra small. Like, I can't even get one leg into it, right? And then the disclaimers, a lot of times, because the industry follows them, you would see disclaimers on the Skims site like non-returnable. You can't return anything. It's all even though it's not on a level of like what you're going through, there are still consumers that go through these issues with the brand all the time. Regardless if it's Skims or Kylie or whoever, you see the complaints online. So it's not like it's something I'm making up. You see these complaints online. You see the reviews from people reviewing products online. So it really takes a lot of courage on your part, I have to say, for you to do this. I just wanted to have an opportunity to sit with you because in my mind, when I first saw everything, I'm thinking contracts. I'm thinking like, what happened? Did they just rush into it? And I could see that happening back then. What was this? 2014? I could see that happening.
And we had filed, we had our patent started for Sensorgram. So everything that we could do as Americans to protect our ideas and our businesses, we were doing that. We had spent the money on the attorneys. We had, dotted the I's and crossed the T's as best as we could. And just because we didn't have those contracts netted, which Kris Jenner told me in an email they were going to net the contracts. We thought we were working with people that were with similar interests.
Right.
We trusted them.
Right. And that's just a lesson for even people that are in Silicon Valley or people that have startups. Like, don't just be so eager to jump in bed with people. I'm like that here on my site. Y'all know it to be fact, even with this interview. I'm very, very meticulous. I do my research. I look into individuals and I just try to like make sure that it's not just beneficial for them, but also beneficial for me as a brand. And so this is a huge lesson. If y'all don't take nothing else out of this, with David, just learn to basically really and truly, you could be lawyered up. You could have all of the I's dotted. Just shut your mouth. That's what this boils down to. It boils down to, can you tell them exactly what I mean by shut your mouth? Like what actually transpired because somebody was happy and that's how this whole entire bag got fumbled?
So this whole thing turned south when my partner Narayan was excited about our new relationship with the Kardashians. And he basically sent a text message to his friend that was in private saying, hey, we're partnering with your dream girl and, just something harmless. He was kind of starstruck, so that message got back to Kim and they used that to say that we breached, her privacy and then threatened to sue us based on that text message.
Right.
So we didn't really do anything like majorly wrong.
But
it was just excitement. So that's the frustrating part. 3 lives and families, financial security. Like this didn't have to happen just because of that message.
Because people don't understand how much money had y'all invested in Sensorgram at that point.
Hundreds of thousands of dollars. My life savings.
People don't understand that about startups. Are you familiar with Web Summit?
Yes.
Okay. So I went to Web Summit in 2017 and my eyes were open to tech. I'm actually going to be going back this year because I want to connect with more web developers and more startups to help them. But saying all of that, people don't understand like the level when you're looking at a young person who's like in their 30s, somebody that's even in their 40s, and they're putting all their eggs in this basket for this app that they're creating that's going to be the most amazing thing for everybody. And you see the drive, you see the hunger in their eyes to make this work and how they're trying to get investors. People don't understand what really goes into building apps. And that it's not just, oh, you just pick up your phone and, oh, I'm going to make a emoji and this is going to be cute, blah, blah, blah. Like, it's a lot of red tape that goes into that and a lot of hard work that goes into that. And I think by sharing this story, it helps people understand that Silicon Valley is just not a place where you just go to get rich, okay? It's a place where people actually put their hopes, their dreams, every ounce of their blood, sweat, and tears into to hopefully make something and create something that people could use. Look at Uber, look at Lyft. That was someone that had a dream to make that happen, and it did. It kicked off for them and it did amazing. But then there are other people that either take advantage of the system, like the one girl that's getting got arrested and has to go to jail for taking advantage with that app about your blood sugar or some foolishness with the blood, child. And then you have situations like this where you have honest people that are just trying to do something good, trying to create an app that they think is amazing, and trying to partner with a bigger brand that they would think would get more eyes on it. But it's amazing that after all these years, this is the way the eyes are actually starting to see about Sensagram. I appreciate you spending your time with me today and taking time out of your day to talk with me. I just want to be able to come on and just give it give more of an understanding, and allow people to understand that like it's just not down with the Kardashians. It's really like you're going against a machine, like everybody says. And there's a lot of people that are invested in this, and we have to start rethinking what call to action that we want to happen. Is it change behavior? Are we trying to move the attention away from them and hit their attention currency? Because if you ask me, their attention currency is at $1 trillion. That's what their net worth is really in attention. They're the first trillionaires in attention. Okay. So at the end of the day, you guys, I hope you enjoyed this interview. Going over to TikTok, follow David over there. You can keep up with his mission there, or you could go to his website, Kim Kardashian Ruined My Life, .com, and learn more about his story there. Thank you so much again, David. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
And you guys have a blessed day, evening, or night, whatever time of the day it is that you're watching. Leave comments down below, and I will talk to you guys in the next broadcast. Bye.